What's happening, everybody? The Poets here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. This is just going to be a quick video to show you my newest project that I'm working on that I've partnered with Thermaltake, actually. So this right here is Deep Blue. You know, my Threadripper 3970X system, 32 cores, 64 threads, 64 gigs of RAM, 50 terabytes of storage space, Vegas 64 graphics card, all on like different types of water cooling gear. Optimus is the primary one, a little bit of EKWB, some bits power. But basically the purpose of this system is for it to be my workhorse, you know, for 4K video editing, like maybe this video, other projects that I'm working on, and of course my day-to-day, I'm in finance. So it handles like all kinds of stuff. Now, Threadripper is great for all of that and is okay for gaming. This 3970X has been doing a wonderful job at, you know, playing Elite Dangerous and Battlefield 5 and all that stuff, especially with the Vegas 64 graphics card, 1440p gaming, even Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, when that came out. This one right here is a 4K monitor. This one is 1440p. So like gaming monitor, and then like 99% sRGB monitor for right here for all my video editing stuff. But it's time to step it up a notch. You know, so I've been adequate with gaming with this. Thermaltake is partnering with me to actually build a gaming build. And I think this one's gonna end up being about $5,000 total. So thank you to Thermaltake, and thank you to HP Omen for supplying a lot of the hardware for this build as well. So let's get into it. So this is what's going on here. Thermaltake, they sent me a truck, basically. So let's run down everything that's going on here, because this is basically going to be an intense gaming build. First off, this is the DistroCase 350P. I first saw this case at CES 2020, and I knew that eventually I had to build in this case. It's actually a mid-tower case. It costs $899 US dollars, yes, and it is fantastic. This is a 5mm thick tempered glass distribution plate with a pump right here. So this whole case is water cooling. That, you know, what is water cooling? It's this case, like amazing. Up to an ATX size motherboard fits in here. It has some, you know, IO up top. Hopefully you can see that. And it's just gonna be a lot of fun. I already have a couple of hard drives here. Actually, this whole thing like turns out, which is really cool. So you can easily access before you build in it, things that are behind there. So I'm gonna put two 8TB drives and do that in RAID 0, because this is a gaming build. I don't need redundancy, but I want some speed. So I wanna have like a 2TB Western Digital Black NVMe drive, running pretty much everything, like my OS and primary games, and then everything else will be on that 16 terabytes of RAID 0. Then what else do we have here? We have a ton of stuff. Because of all the power that this is gonna draw, we have the Tough Power ARGB 1200 watt 80 plus platinum Tough Power series by Thermaltake. That's going to be pretty darn cool because, hey, RGB power supply, that means more power, right? We have lots of fans. So these are going to be their Ring Quad 12 base fans, 120mm fans to go on these radiators. Now, there's two 360mm radiators right here. This one is 64mm thick. It's a thick, thick boy. And this one here is 27mm thick. I still have to really find out if I can have both on there at the same time, because the manual is not quite clear. So I got the manual right here, if this camera wants to focus. So it shows both here, but it doesn't say or. And I haven't figured out physically how to get both on there. So I'll find that out. But either way, this 64mm thick radiator will do the job for cleaning what I think I'm going to use for a processor and GPU for this build. We also have the Pacific W7 Plus CPU water block right here. Plenty of PETG tubing, 16mm outer diameter. So I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on how to bend. And speaking of bending, here's the 12mm inner diameter, 16 outer kit that Thermaltake sent me. Lots and lots of fittings, more fittings than you can shake a stick at, even though I'm shaking a stick at the fittings. And of course the Pacific C Pro 6-pack here. So these are really cool. I like the looks of these. So basically I'm going for a chromish black with this. So let me put the stick down. This is coolant that is not released yet. So Thermaltake sent me this And I'm basically like testing it. This is coolant that they had at CES 2020, still in development, and it's not on the market yet. It's really, really cool to look at. It's kind of like slightly textured, like very, very slightly textured. So this is gonna be kind of cool to use. I have 2 bottles of that. And just overall, this is going to be a very fun gaming-centric build. So since it's gaming, I need lots of RGB, 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 and RGB in here, I'm sure, somehow, some way. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Let me know in the comment section if you guys have any questions at all. So one of the first steps that you definitely always have to take when it comes to water cooling is flushing out your radiators, flushing out your distribution plate, flushing out your pipes, just everything that the water is going to touch. You want to flush that out, make sure it's completely clean, and then of course leak testing. So the way I do it first is I flush everything out, yes, but then I leak test each individual part separately. So the distribution plate, or the case I should say in this case, that's going to have its own leak testing session. Then of course even this, the CPU water block, going to leak test for that. So anything that the water is going to touch, I'm going to leak test because I don't want any failures in this whatsoever. And so first, flushing, cleaning, second, leak testing, third, starting to put everything together, and then get creative. And during that creative process is where I actually come up with the name. I have Deep Blue over here, Threadripper 3970X system, and Deep Blue is named after the old school IBM computer chess system, right? Then after building in the 011 Dynamic Mini system, the Snow Edition, I just fell in love with just calling it like the Snow Edition over and over again, and it was enjoyable to build in that, so I just called it Snow. Kind of made me think of Game of Thrones a little bit, but it's not Jon Snow, just Snow, just like Prince or Sade, just single name, right? And then, and the poets, and then the name will come. So if you have suggestions, go ahead and put those in the comments. I'm going to be saying, hey, maybe I might call this or that. And yes, I did shave, so either way, just let me know if you have questions in the comment section. Again, shout out to Thermaltake, shout out to HP Omen for some of the hardware that's going to be going in here. And I will see you guys in the next one. It's going to be fun. Peace.